What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. One of the biggest lies in the accounting industry is that more clients automatically means more success. So today let's talk about that, because it doesn't, right? More clients often means more chaos. You've experienced it. You've been through it. You've probably gone through it a lot recently, especially if you're watching all of these videos. You're closing a massive amount of deals, right? You can't watch my videos and not close more deals. But anyways, look, more deadlines, you got more clients, more stress, more fires to put out. I've seen firm owners make $200K a year and feel trapped. I've seen firm owners make $1 million a year and have a complete freedom, okay? The difference is not the number of clients. The difference is the systems behind the business. So let's walk through that today. Let's walk through the logical path of scaling an accounting firm, right? Not the sexy version, not the social media version, but the version that actually works. So let's jump into that today. Make sure you check us out at Universal Accounting Center. Grab our certifications that we offer and like and subscribe. So module 1, all right, look. Master delivery before growth. Why don't you master your delivery before you grow? The first mistake most firm owners make is trying to market their way out of the operational problems, okay? And that's a bad idea. Before you focus on growth, ask yourself, can clients onboard smoothly? Can documents be collected consistently? Can work be delivered accurately? Can communication happen without you? Can another team member perform the process exactly the way that you would? Okay, these are really good questions, because if you can't consistently serve 10 clients, you're not ready for 100. You have to understand, the first stage of scaling is not marketing. The first stage of scaling is repeatability. All right, look at McDonald's. Let's think about McDonald's, okay? They don't rely on talented employees. Are you kidding me? They rely on systems. Everything is documented. Shout out McDonald's employees, by the way. You guys are awesome. Everything is documented. Everything is predictable. Everything is repeatable, okay? Your firm should operate the same way. The exact same way. Remember, in business, you'll fall to your system. So if you got horrible systems, you're going to have horrible results. Got good systems, got good results. Just how it works, okay? To me, it's common sense. That's why we're logically knocking this out today. So look, module 2, okay? Module 2, productize your services. Productize your services. What does that mean, okay? Look, most firms create unnecessary complexity, okay? Every proposal is different. Every engagement is different. Every process is different. That doesn't scale. Instead, create packages, okay? Look, a starter package, a growth package, an advisory package. The more standardized your service becomes, the easier they become to sell. The easier they become to deliver, the easier they become to scale. Complexity kills growth. That simplicity right there, that's going to create the growth, okay? The best firms don't sell custom chaos. They sell predictable outcomes. Let's move to module 3. Build reoccurring revenue first. Write that down. Build reoccurring revenue first. The strongest accounting firms are built on reoccurring revenue. Not one-time projects, not one-time tax returns, but reoccurring revenue. So how can I get that reoccurring revenue? Here, bookkeeping, payroll, controller services, CFO services, advisory services, monthly compliance. Why? Look, because recurring revenue creates predictability, and that predictability creates stability. And stability creates confidence. Imagine waking up every month already knowing what revenue is coming in. That's completely different business than constantly chasing your next sale. Look, tax season should become a bonus for you, not your entire business model. And that's kind of how you have to navigate that. Let's go to the next. Module 4. You have to, at some point, figure out a way to create a client acquisition engine or system, whatever you want to call it. But how am I going to do that? Well, a lot of firm owners say we grow through referrals. Well, look, that's great, but referrals alone don't scale. You need multiple ways to generate opportunities. So referrals, LinkedIn, YouTube, email marketing, webinars, strategic partnerships. You should go to events, paid advertising. You should have speaking engagements, sales team. You should be doing an immense amount of outreach. Okay, set up how many dials a day, how much talk time you should be doing, all of that. I mean, the goal is simple. You should never wake up wondering where your next client's coming from when lead flow becomes predictable, growth becomes predictable. All right? All right, let's go to step 5. Stop doing 20 an hour tasks. Stop doing $20 an hour tasks. What do I mean by that? This is where many firm owners sabotage themselves. So you guys insist on doing literally everything. The scheduling, the emails, the document, basically everything. The administrative work, the follow-up, the data entry. But here's the real question that you should ask yourself. Would you pay a CEO 6 figures to do those activities? Well, of course not. So why in the world are you doing them? It just doesn't make any sense. Every hour should be spent every hour that you're spending on doing low-value work is an hour that you're not spending on the sales, the strategy, the advisory, and the growth. That's the fastest way to scale. All right, it's not doing more work. It's doing more of what actually matters. So you have to ask yourself every day, am I operating like a CEO or am I operating just as one of my own employees? And figuring that out will be so well, you'll be so well suited to continue to grow your firm there. So let's look at module 6 here. Hire before you think you need to. Hire before you think you need to. Most firm owners hire way too late. Look, you guys are overwhelmed, then you start making emotional hiring decisions, okay? And that's a huge mistake. Instead what you need to do is hire based on capacity. If a team member can comfortably handle 25 clients, start hiring when they reach 20. Not when they're drowning, not when deadlines are being missed, not when clients are complaining. Great firms are proactive. Average firms hire reactively. I'd rather be proactive than reactive. One creates growth, the other creates stress. All right, let's move to module 7. You have to build layers of leadership. Most firms never scale because of every question goes to the owner. The client problem, ask the owner. The employee problem, ask the owner. Operational problem, ask the owner. Soon the owner becomes the bottleneck, right? That's not scale, that's dependency. Eventually you need staff, team leads, managers, directors, then the CEO. Your goal is not to solve every problem. Your goal is to develop people who can solve problems without you. That's when a firm starts becoming a company. Okay? Let's move to module 8. Move into advisory. We got to get you over out of just reporting the data. Okay, first of all, if you're curious on how to get into advisory, it's super simple. You just reach out to me or give us a call at Universal Accounting Center. We'll get your profit and growth expert certification. We'll get you a coach as well. But advisory, this is where everything changes. Bookkeeping tells clients what happened. Tax tells clients what they owe. And advisory helps clients decide what they do next. And business owners pay premium fees for outcomes. Think about it. A bookkeeping client paying $500 a month, that same client may happily invest $2,000 or more for advisory guidance that improves profitability. The client wins, the firm wins, everyone wins. That is why advisory often becomes the highest margin service inside of a firm. All right, let's go to the next module. Track the right metrics, your KPIs. Look, most firm owners only track revenue. That's a mistake. Revenue is the scoreboard, guys. You need to track what creates the score. The leads generated, the appointments booked, the close rates, the monthly reoccurring revenue, your client retention, revenue per client, your gross margins, your advisory engagements. The firm that scales, okay, it doesn't guess. It's measuring. And when it gets measured, it gets improved, okay? So let's go to step 10 or module 10. Work on the firm, not in the firm. So I'd rather work on the firm, not in the firm. And this would be the final stage. Most accountants build practices, but very few build companies. As your firm grows, your role should shift from technician to leader, from producer to strategist, from worker to visionary. Your job becomes leadership, okay? Culture, hiring, growth, strategy, vision. Because if your business cannot operate without you, you don't own a business. You just have a job, a very expensive job, okay? So here's the logical scaling formula. First, you get clients, you create systems, you build reoccurring revenue, hire capacity, develop leaders, add advisory, scale marketing, and become the CEO. Most firm owners try to skip steps. The firm owners that win master each level before advancing to the next. Remember this, the goal is not to build the biggest accounting firm. The goal is to build a firm that grows while requiring less of your time. That's real scale. That's real freedom. That's how you build the premier accounting firm. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.